Welcome, Chris and the mayor from Jackpot Slot Spot. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We chatted for a minute before. I know you guys are in Reno. How are the machines treating you? Is usually how I start off these interviews.
They've been really rough for the last few months, to say the truth.
Yeah, we had a couple good months, October, November, and then it was downhill from there. But that's the nature of the beast.
Yeah, like I told you, I'd seen your content before, but I dove in and watched a bunch more, and it's amazing to see the growth that you guys have had over the last couple of years since starting the channel. I was hoping we could get started by you guys giving us a short version of how the channel got started, how you got into this, and maybe how you got to where you are now with over 50,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, we actually we started the channel just about 7 months ago. So we've only been doing it for 7 months.
Wow.
I've got another startup called Cha-Ching that's going to be a mobile app that's going to be amazing, that I think is going to revolutionize the way people find slots. It's also going to be social media, which is why we started Jackpot Slot Spot, which was originally called Jackpot G Spot.
Oh.
And we found out pretty quickly after the channel started taking off that we needed to change it from G Spot, because when you search for G Spot on Google, it goes to different places.
You can't compete with that. The competition on that keyword, I don't think.
Well, plus there's a bunch of manufacturers and casinos that didn't want to work with us because we had it was funny finding out, being in this business, that you're in an adult world in casinos, but everybody's a bit conservative. So we wanted to change to something that was going to be a little bit more family friendly. So that's how we got to Jackpot Slot Spot.
That's so cool. I mean, it sounds like, and judging by your content, it's not like you guys started playing slots when you started the channel. So how big of what's your experience like with casinos and gambling? You said you're based in Reno. Is this something that you've always been into? Chris, the mayor's pointing at you.
Yeah. I've been a degenerate gambler for a while now, probably about 20 years. And it grew over the years. The more income you made, the more we spent. And it just made sense. Before we even lived in Reno, we lived in the Bay Area. We would come up to Reno about once a month, sometimes twice a month. We had a house in Tahoe, so we'd gamble in Tahoe, so that it was just a natural progression. When we saw people recording all of their gambling, it's like, hey, why aren't we doing this? Plus, like John said, it was a platform for us to be able to market Cha-Ching when it comes out. So if I could grow the channel and be the influencer that does all the marketing for Cha-Ching, it was a win-win.
That's amazing.
I've been a degenerate for a while.
People use that word proudly now, it seems like. 7 months to over 50K subs on YouTube is really special, and congrats on being able to do that. I'm curious, what do you think clicked for you guys and with your audience and with the channel that led to that kind of growth in such a short amount of time?
Well, I think it's a mix of Chris's big bets, and then my personality, and then our personalities together. So we've been married for almost 19 years now, 18 and a half years now. We also have a very special little 6-year-old at home named Johnny. And her and I have been gambling and hanging out in casinos since we first got together. I mean, like, our honeymoon was, after we got married, was at the El Dorado in Reno.
Amazing.
Because we had a bunch of family in town and stuff, and we ended up going to the El Dorado and hanging out there, and just meeting all the people here in Reno and around this area, and then going to Las Vegas. It was just always, we always enjoyed the perks that came along with it: golf tournaments, dinners, travel. We've been all over the world, really, with casinos and with cruises and things like that. And it really has become really fun. And then when I went down this path of creating Cha-Ching, we did. And then we put together Jackpot Slot Spot. It just kind of took off. Mm-hmm. And what we found was our live streams are just like some of the most fun things ever. And we'll have anywhere between 2,000 and 6,000 people on a live stream. and just being part of that energy that is a Jackpot Slot live stream is super special. And people have a lot of fun, including us. And it just is really became this community of people that get together around what we do. And it's a very special thing. We're passionate about it. And so are the people who are experiencing it on the live stream.
What we hear a lot from our audience is that we're real. We show our losses, we show our wins, we celebrate, we pout, we're just us back and forth with each other. We banter. We've been married a long time, so we've got a lot of content to banter on. We've also got great team members that work with us, so we banter back and forth. So a lot of what we hear on our channel is about how real we are, so a lot of people in channels think that it's all fake content, that the casino is paying us to show these big jackpots to get them there. And that's not the case. But yeah, our realness, I think, is probably our number one factor.
That's really cool. I mean, I saw some of the numbers on your live stream just on the feed, and going by your subscriber number, like those are massive numbers. I'm curious, you talked about the big bets, you talked about your personalities. What else can you point to explain how big those lives have gotten? I mean, it sounds like you guys are having a lot of fun. Is there a real community that's growing there that's led to it growing over time? Or, I know a lot of other influencers and people would be interested to get any tips that you might have about how to grow those numbers, because the view numbers on those lives are sick. I saw some.
I think that my background, I've been a musician and an entertainer for years. And I don't even know how it started, to tell you the truth. I got nicknamed the mayor accidentally because somebody said, "Come on, mayor." What they meant to say was, "Come on, major."
Hit the major.
Hit the major. And I said, "You guys want me to run for office?" And it happened to be during the election. And then I've been the mayor ever since. But what I do during these live streams is, and in the live streams, it's all about interaction with people. And we do this thing called Johnny Cash time, where, that song, "I've been everywhere, man, I've been everywhere." I say, "Okay, everybody in the chat, tell me where you're from." And then I go and I read everything that I possibly can on all these different locations that people are from, and then sing the chorus. So it's like people just kind of started requesting Johnny Cash time. And now I do it in a Mike Tyson voice. One of the guys that works with us, does a Christopher Walken voice. I mean, it's just like, we just keep on trying to come up with different ways to have fun with everybody who's on the live streams.
Yeah, and awesome. Our audience, they're in on it. I mean, they're requesting us to do certain things, and we're just crazy enough to do it, which is the funny thing.
Yeah, they had her twerking when we were down at the El Cortez. If we get to 1,000 likes or thumbs up, will Chris twerk? And sure enough, she did it.
And if anybody knows me, I can't dance or sing. They're asking me to sing. I'm like, oh man, this is not good.
Oh yeah, she did her first Johnny Cash time too. It was hilarious.
That's amazing. Do you feel like you guys have started building relationships with some of your fans, and what's that been like to see the same people coming back? Because I know there's a real sense of community that builds around those live streams in particular.
Well, she gets recognized all the time, mostly in casinos. But like today, I was at lunch at In-N-Out Burger, and somebody came up and said, "You're the mayor." And so I got a picture with him, and they just happened to be at our Christmas party at the Pepper Mill here in Reno back in December.
You were in Arizona at the Vikings game, and someone yells, the Vikings playoff game, and someone yells, "Mayor!" He turned around, and it's some guy that watches our channel. I mean, it's surreal, kind of. I mean, it's nuts. But yes, our community interacts with us big time. We have quite a few viewers that are on every live stream, never miss a beat, sending us super chats. I mean, it's become a little family. We have a Discord chat back and forth with our super fans. We chat all day with them. And literally they're like family. It's awesome.
Well, it's funny too, because the influencer community, we're friends with Vegas Matt, WBG, all those guys, which are some of the nicest people in the world to help people like us out, and they help all the influencers. NG, Big Jackpot, Lady Luck. I mean, all these people that have been in it for years and years that have built this huge business that they do, and they are going out of their way to help out people like us. And, I had a long conversation with Vegas Matt about it. He's like, we need to sit here and we need to help each other out. And we need to create a community that is valued and help each other do that. And it's really been an interesting thing for, like I said, it's only been 7 months, but for us to be at 50,000, we're at the El Cortez this last weekend, celebrating opening up their brand new high limit room. And to be surrounded by all these people was very surreal for us. And then to celebrate 50,000 was just amazing. But really, I can't stress enough how cool it is to be part of this burgeoning community of influencers. And we're just getting started.
I totally agree. I want to follow up with that topic, but first I'd love to talk a bit about the play and the games that you guys like to do. I know, the tagline on your banner is big bets, bigger jackpots, I think. I'm curious what average stakes, what's your approach to playing and making content in terms of the stakes in the games that you guys like playing the most?
When she plays, it's a different deal than when I play. So when I go take over the channel, I call it hijacking, and I'll hijack the channel, and it's smaller bets because that's what I enjoy doing, and that's what I'm more comfortable doing. When she's betting, I'll let Chris take over and talk about what she likes to do, and then I can talk about what I do afterwards.
Yeah, Our community is well versed in my play, and I'm a Dragon Link. They call me Camper Chris because I'll stay at a Dragon Link machine way too long and get killed. But my bets are anywhere between $50 to spend to $250. Occasionally, I'll do some of the higher bets as well and get lucky, but sometimes I get murdered. But everybody knows me for playing high stakes Keno, high stakes poker, and high stakes Dragon Link pretty much. And he does the hijacking on the lower bets. So there's an audience for both. There's audience that love to see me do the big bets. One of my most viral videos was me hitting a grand jackpot for 130,000. I think we have 10 million views on it. That's kind of what started the channel back in July. It went crazy. And then he's got some viral videos of much smaller bets, but they went viral because of the content and his personality. So there's a spot for both.
Yeah, that's so cool that you guys do both, because I think there's totally an audience that loves high rolling play and also people who love more relatable size bets similar to like what they're doing. So that's cool. You guys can combine it. I saw that video where you hit that 125K. That was pretty crazy to see all that cash.
What's really funny about that video is that, it's gotten tens of thousands of comments on it, and almost 90% of the comments are about tipping.
Because I tipped.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's be like, I would never tip that person. And other people like, of course you tip. And it's just going back and forth. And as we all know, or as I know now, it's all about people commenting on videos that puts into the algorithm and says, oh, this is something people are interested in. And it's been all about tipping. That's 90% of the comments are about tipping, and it goes on and on and on. It's crazy.
Okay. Now I'm interested to ask you about proper tipping etiquette so we can get to the bottom of this. First of all, how much did you tip on that? It was $125,000 jackpot. Is that right?
It all depends on how much you're down. Some people say, oh, I tip 10% every time. Well, if I hit $100,000 and I'm down $60,000, I'm not tipping 10% plus 100,000. That's a lot. I think on that video, it's in there. I think I may have tipped 1,500 somewhere around there. It was a while ago, but it all depends on if you're down. If I walk in and hit something right away, and the attendance that I know versus who I don't know. We play a lot here at the Pepper Mill. I know all those people. They take very good care of us. When I'm down, they're feeling the pain right with me. When I'm up, they're excited with me. So I tend to tip them more. If I'm at a new casino where I don't really know them, I always tip, but it varies.
Is it like proper etiquette to tip something when you have a big win at slots like you would at other casino table games? Yeah,
a lot of gamblers don't know that, but ones that gamble a lot do know that if you want them to take care of you, you definitely want to tip.
Do you tip the individual slot attendant, or does it go to like the staff in the room, or how does it work?
They all split. So any slot attendant you tip, they split at the end of the night. So when all the influencers are at the Pepper Mill and they're making a lot of money, but
that's really cool.
That's what they rely on is tips. So
So what do the people in your comment section have to say about it?
They're just, it's funny. And I have to think that those are people that aren't, gamblers that gamble a lot. They may visit a casino once every couple of years and they don't know that, because when I first started gambling, I didn't know you were supposed to tip on jackpots either.
I think it's an educational thing. Like when we were at this influencer event at the El Cortez, we met Cowboy Slots, and he was talking about like teaching me about different, educating me on different things on different slot machines. I think it goes across all people, all genres. It's like some people just don't know. And it's like, if you haven't had a bunch of W2G payouts, you might not know. So it's like, you've got all these different thousands of people. Like one of the comments that I see a lot is like, well, they don't tip you when you lose. I'm like, well, that's just the way it goes. But I tip on just about everything. And I don't hit big jackpots usually like we do when Chris is playing. But it's like, whenever I hit any kind of hand pay, I'm going to give him something. It's just like it's
just like you tip on blackjack.
Yeah,
or it's more bribery on blackjack because you're tipping for them, hoping to get a good hand. So it's more bribery.
So many people are used to tipping $1 on a win on any table game,
right?
Depending on the size of what you're gambling, I guess.
I think it's almost a karma thing. It's like, if I'm going to take care of somebody, I'll probably get some good karma back, or it just makes me feel good too.
This is the same argument people have about tipping in general, like in Reservoir Dogs when they have a big argument about whether you should tip or not.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm curious, like when you get the tax form, does the tip get deducted from the total that you pay tax on? Does that get recorded? Or it's just out of your pocket? Yeah.
No, it's out of pocket, because if you have enough losses, then you don't pay any taxes anyway.
Okay.
And we'd have plenty of losses.
Let's not kid ourselves about how slots work.
That's it. One of the things that we see a lot is like, are you up or down for the year? And it's just like, I want to tell people, it's like, if you gamble enough, you'll never be up. It just the math just doesn't work out that way.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're going to gamble enough, and unless you're the luckiest person in the world, maybe you can be up for a year. But for the most part, I've talked to pretty much every influencer, nobody's up. It's just like this is an entertainment thing that we do for ourselves and for other people. And it's just like, unless you hit $1 million payout on something, and even then you might not be up. I mean, let's just be honest about the whole thing.
That's really interesting. I mean, does that kind of responsible gambling messaging factor into the content that you guys are making and the kind of messages you want to get out there to your audience? Because I know different influencers kind of represent slots differently. How do you guys approach that when it comes to being honest? You mentioned that you post your losses, but is that a big factor in your content?
It's not a huge factor, but we try to be honest with everybody. It's like we see a lot of messages on there on lives and on our long form videos and short forms, like people asking, how much should I take to the casino? As much as you're comfortable with, as much as you're comfortable losing. Because if you go in there thinking you're going to win, then you're going in with a fool's errand. It's just not going to work for you. You might win, yes, but for the most part, plan on losing a good portion of the money you take with you, and plan on being okay with it.
A big part of SlotsFan and this podcast is helping slots players have more fun and to do it safely. I'm curious if you guys have any tips. I know, you said you've been hanging out in casinos for years and years since you first got together. What would you, what are some tips you could give to our viewers that they might not know that could help them have more fun, get more value, increase their chances of winning in some way?
Well, when Cha-Ching comes out, that'll help everybody. Not to plug my own stuff, but that's going to help everybody. But then one of the big things for Chris and I is to go to a place we're comfortable, where we know people. And it's like, we have a few different places here in Reno that we love to go to, Peppermill, El Dorado, Tamarack. And it's just because we know so many people there, it's almost like family. And you want to hang out in a place that you're comfortable. And that's we love the food. We love the people there, and we also get taken care of really well.
That's the one thing. Go in to have fun. Don't go in to win your mortgage, win your rent, and take advantage of all the rewards that are up. Casinos have amazing reward programs, whether it be golf or food or massage or whatever. Make sure you're taking advantage of all of those perks. They're not so free, but they are perks nonetheless. And just have fun. Don't take money you need to survive. This is discretionary income.
Does using a player's card change your chances of winning at all?
No.
Tell me this, that they're scared of using a player's card because they think it's
we see it all the time on our lives. Like, all right, take your player's card out, put it back in. It's like, take off your underwear, put it back on. It's like all these different things. And it really comes down to using your player's card when you walk in to do the swipe, put in for every little promotion they have, walk over, make sure that like on multiplier days, you're always taking advantage of the multipliers for the comps and the tier points. And then just use your card at all times, because it really does multiply into like sometimes they'll have 6 and 10 times multipliers. That's a huge amount of comps and a huge amount of tier points. So you got to take advantage of those. And also we keep track of it on a calendar for when the different casinos are doing those promotions, and go and make sure we're there for those if we can. Like we said, we have a 6-year-old. So if we can, we'll try to be there for those promotional times where the tier multiplier and the comp multiplier are there. Because at the size that we do gamble, that turns out to be a lot of comps and a lot of tier points.
Yeah, John gets a massage every Friday, a standing massage every Friday on our comps.
I'm not standing, I'm laying down.
He's the one that gets a massage. I'm downstairs gambling. He's at the spa.
That sounds like a good deal for everybody.
That's why this is why my skin's so supple.
What other tips do you guys have? I know there's lots of people have ideas about choosing what games to play. Some people are looking at, how much money's going into machines, where the machines are. Does any of that stuff factor into decisions that you two make when you're deciding what machines to choose?
I've been playing a lot. I'll let Chris talk about this in a second, but I've been doing a lot on the new Phoenix links and the Buffalo links that have the advantage play in the right-hand corner. And on the ones that max out at 1,800, like the Buffalo links, anything that's over 1,150, I'll play those. And on the Phoenix links that max out at 1,888, anything over 1,300, I'll play on those. It doesn't matter if it's a 50-cent bet or if it's a $50 bet. Really, it doesn't matter what it is. You have a better chance of winning when those numbers are over 1,150 and over 1,300 than you do of losing. You might still lose, but you have a better advantage play on those machines than you do on the other ones where you just don't have a clue.
Do you think it's better than it normally is, or better than a break even? Like, do you think there's actually a plus EV opportunity in those situations, or is it just better than it normally is when those numbers aren't higher?
You have a better chance of making money than you do if it's under those numbers.
Yeah, compared to normal circumstances. Okay.
That's what I've been told by educated folks in the business.
And for me, and this is purely in my head, I like to stay away from the casinos on big weekends, Super Bowl weekend, President's Day weekend, Martin Luther King, anytime that people are there for 3 days straight. And then I want to go in and pounce after everybody leaves. But and I've gotten lucky that way, but I've also gotten killed. But, it's just speculation that I think after the weekend, especially in Reno, people come up for the weekend, go skiing, gamble at night. Then, us locals get to go hit the machines. And it's probably the same way for Vegas as well. But that's my thought. I don't know if it's true, but I've gotten lucky.
After a big weekend like that and you're going in, are there specific things you're looking for? Like what the mayor mentioned in terms of progressives getting bigger than a certain number, anything else that's causing you to choose one machine over another, even in the circumstances like after a big weekend?
Primarily for me, it's Dragon Link, and those show the majors. And you can tell, the majors start out at the $1 million machines that I play start out at 25,000. And so after a big weekend, I'll go in there and it's now at 45,000. Well, we know it has to hit by 50. So unfortunately, I've been in this situation before where I think it's going to hit and I dump 30 or 40 grand into it and get nothing. But a lot of times the weekend goers will run that number up, and then I go and pounce on a Monday or Tuesday and see if I can hit that major. Yeah,
one of the issues with that game too is like it maxes out at 50, but then it can sit there and just roll in the background behind the 50,000 once it maxes out. So it's like they're all random number generators. So it's like it's going to hit when it wants to hit, And like, again, she said, when the majors are much higher, again, you have a better chance of hitting a larger jackpot than you do when they're at 25. But I've seen her hit a major at $40,000, and within about 25 minutes, she hits another major on the same machine at 25 and some change. So
it's all timing.
Random number generator. You never know when it's gonna hit. But when we're walking up to a machine and the major's higher, pretty good chance we're gonna play that one.
Is it reasonable to think that the major has the same statistical probability of hitting at any given spin? And so if there's a higher value on that outcome, then it's a better EV to play that machine. Is that how the thinking works?
That's how our thinking works. I'm not sure if it's the right thinking, but it's the way ours works. I think it's almost the same as when you're looking at the perceived progression of these machines that have, like, the big pile of gold.
Yeah.
The gold's been piled up for a long time because that bonus hasn't hit in a long time. So you're thinking, well, it's got to hit, right? Nope. It's just like, it's the reason they put them all up there is to draw in the player to come up and play it. Because we've all seen those perceived progressions that are down to nothing, and they hit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they've been sort of upfront saying that those, I think they call it like perceived persistence.
Yeah, persistence.
Yeah. And like, it's kind of a little misleading, I think. It's a little on the edge. But yeah, it's hard to understand why, you can, flip a coin 9 times heads and then the 10th time is still 50-50. It doesn't seem to make any sense. But I'm curious, Chris, what came up for me when you were mentioning some of the sizes of your bets? Those by my standards are so big. I'm curious, is the excitement still there for you? Are those big bets still, you mentioned that you guys are real and your authentic personality comes out. Do you have an authentic excitement about the wins and the losses still? And is that part of what comes across in the content that makes it so engaging?
Both ways. I have some major highs and some major lows. Just like I was saying, when I go in, I see a major that's 48,000 and I think it's about to hit because it's got to hit at 50 and I dump 40 grand in. It's not fun. But when I do hit the major, the other day I had a major and a minor. It was a $78,000 jackpot. I'm running around doing a victory lap. I mean, so the excitement is still there. For me, I just love to win. I think I mentioned I play high stakes Keno, which is the worst odds in the house, but I've hit multiple 80,000s in the last couple months at the same place, same bar. So that excitement, I get nervous and excited. And so it doesn't go away. When it does, then I guess I'll stop gambling.
Oh no. And I wear my heart on my sleeve. I get super pissed off, where it's just like, oh my God, I'm going crazy. Like, let's move machines. And like a lot of the times the big joke behind our channel is like, as soon as I say, we have to get off this machine right now, boom, bonus hits, she hits a jackpot. So it's like,
and I do that. I told you so.
Yeah. Told you so. But we were talking about her big play compared to mine, and I'm doing anywhere between $10 and $25 spins, which is still high for most gamblers. But compared to hers, people are like, I can't believe that we like it when Chris plays and for me, it's all about sitting down and playing. I don't care if I win a ton of money. I just want to sit there and have some fun. And that's what a lot of gamblers look at gambling to be, is just let's sit down and have some fun. And if I can sit there and play for a couple hours and talk to people on the chat, I'm having a blast. But it's like when we get into some of these bigger bets, it is stressful. You can hear it in my voice. You can see it. It's a stressful situation. And I think that's what a lot of people tune in for as well. And, I get made fun of a lot. Like, oh my God, what happened to the mayor? He stopped talking.
Yeah. The mayor's sweating.
Well,
or they'll tell you to move over and let me play because you're boring because your bets are too small.
It's so cool that people can experience that through watching content and channels like yours. It's such a real vicarious thrill that people get to experience without any of the risk of spending their own money or anything like that. So it's really, I think, it's so cool to see, a form of slots and casino entertainment that is still, like you said, still just at the beginning of this, but it seems like the audience for it is so big because of that, people's love of slots and that vicarious thrill that you can get from watching someone else, and then add into that your personalities, and it's a really engaging combination. You mentioned earlier that you felt like we're just at the beginning of this. I want to ask you about Cha-Ching, but before that, I'm curious, where do you think this is going? Where do you think slots entertainment is going? Vegas Matt just passed 1 million subs. It seems like it's breaking through into the mainstream more than ever before. From your perspective, what can we expect over the next few years in the slots influencer space, in particular on YouTube and in the States?
Well, one of the places it's going to go to is Cha-Ching. So Cha-Ching, when it first comes out here over the next few months, is going to be social media for nothing but gambling. And then later on, end of the year, early next year, there's a patented technology that's going to be coming out where it's going to be mapping. So you'll be able to search for, or Chris will be able to search for her favorite Dragon Link machine and do a radius search of 5, 10, 1,000 miles, whatever it is. It'll pull up every one of those machines within that radius that she shows, and it'll pull them up and show her where they're at. And then she'll be able to look at it and see what the progressive jackpot level is of each one of those machines.
Really?
Yeah, no, it's going to be incredible. So once we have that, as well as all the social media on Cha-Ching, I think that's going to take it to a whole nother level.
Well, I think another part of that is there's a lot of casinos that have embraced this influencer thing and realized that it's pretty cheap advertisement and pretty cheap marketing for them. But there's still a whole lot of them out there that have not embraced this. There's a whole lot of casinos that say no filming in my casino. Mm-hmm. We're not going to pay you to come and, give us free play to come and get film there. So I think over the next year or two, that is going to make a huge shift. Every casino is going to be calling all of us, come out, because they realize it's pretty inexpensive advertising. And because of our audience, Matt's got 1 million between all of us, but it's millions and millions and millions of viewers seeing us play and win big at these casinos. So I think it'll be embraced much further reach with all the casinos.
Yeah, I mean, just having you guys creating content there is a way of getting their name out. And then I saw on your website that you also participate in meet and greets, and events, which seem like such a cool opportunity to actually physically get people into the casino, which I know Absolutely. Casinos are always interested in that. I've had a chance to hang out with influencers, like at G2E last year. There was a bunch of hangouts. I got to say, it's super fun to hang out with influencers and fans and be able to just socialize, play slots, hang out with people that you watch. Like, the vibe is really fun, and it's cool how accessible people that you watch on YouTube are when you actually get to hang out with them. And by and large, from my experience, in particular in the slots influencer community, people are just really open and easy to hang out with and accessible. Has that been the case for you guys? And have you had some of those good experiences at the meet and greets that you have participated in?
Absolutely. Actually, this was my first. I was a little nervous because we didn't have a huge audience, but the Pepper Mill threw a birthday party for me. We advertised it on the channel. We ended up having over 100 and something people come
That's
to
amazing.
see it. Yeah, we were at 40,000 subscribers. No,
15. So when we went to G2E this year for the first time, I didn't even know what the hell a G2E was until this year, right? So we go, take our team with us, and we're at 15,000 subscribers at the time. And G2E was just looking around like a kid in a candy store, looking at all the different things going on. Met the different manufacturers, was already friends with a few of the influencers. We got to meet a lot more. And like you said, it was really surprising for me as an artist who's a singer, drummer, all that kind of stuff, musician, to see how open and collaborative all the influencers are, because I came from a very competitive place of being a musician back in the 90s and 2000s.
You're
and to
aging
see
yourself.
I am. But, it's it was surprising and a breath of fresh air to see how easy it is to work with all the rest of these people. And that, like I said, that community is very strong and likes to lift other people up.
Yep. The pioneer, we definitely look up to the pioneers of this industry, and we have nothing but respect for them.
It's a cool time to be in it because I feel like even Vegas Matt is pioneering stuff, but he's a newcomer to the space, relatively speaking. And, you know, you can imagine the opportunities that are there for channels like yourselves and for people that haven't even started their channels yet. Not to mention, you know, I think a previous guest that we had on the show predicted that we'll see more mainstream influencers and people maybe coming into the space as it becomes a bit better understood, because there's obviously a big opportunity for people here. But I'm curious, I want to follow up a bit more about Cha-Ching and give you guys a chance to tell us a bit more about it. You mentioned mapping slots and social media. Can you, and a bit of a timeline, can you expand on that and any of the other features or ways that you think people will be able to use this new app that you guys are releasing?
It's going to be, like I said, the patent is pending on it right now. And what's going to happen is it's going to give the gambler an edge where they're going to be able to search from their home or from another casino or wherever they want to search from. And you can look for the game that you want to play. Doesn't have to be at a certain casino. You can search from wherever you're at. And then you can get driven to the front door of that casino. When you're at the casino, then it turns over to augmented reality. And it's going to walk you through the casino with an arrow and then sit your butt down at the machine that you chose. Then once you're there, just like Waze, you're going to take a picture and it's going to update the progressive jackpot of that machine in that casino. So it's all going to be crowdsourced.
That's really
which has
cool.
never been done before. The technology that we've put together here has only been in existence for the last couple of years. So people have tried to do this kind of thing in the past, but the technology wasn't there. Now the technology is there, and we put together something that I think is going to be a juggernaut. And then put into it the social media and the influencer part of what's going on. Anybody in the world can be an influencer on Cha-Ching. So you're going to have all the people like us that are in there that are already doing this. Now anybody can post their wins, their losses, anything they want to do about their casino trip.
That's so cool.
That's about all I can tell you about it right now.
There'll be an ad revenue piece of this. Cool. There's a marketing piece of it from the casinos to the player. So there's a whole lot of pieces we can't really talk too much, and it's going to be in phases, right? So, but that's the gist of it. That's how this craziness all started.
That's so interesting. I think I've often heard that people kind of backdoor into having a channel through another pursuit, and then all of a sudden their YouTube channel is blowing up to the point where it becomes one of their big focuses. So congratulations on what you've done, because I know what it takes to make a YouTube channel. And even if it's happened in a short term, I can only imagine the amount of effort and blood, sweat, and tears that you guys have put into the channel to get it to the stage that it's at. You know, I wanted to kind of backtrack. A lot of the most popular clips that come out of these shows have to do with the biggest wins that influencers have had. Chris, you mentioned that viral video. I was hoping you could recap that story for us and maybe give us a bit of behind the scenes color that maybe isn't captured in the video, and walk us through how it happened and what it was like.
Let me start before she takes over, because it was 3:00 in the morning. We're at Harrah's in Tahoe for the celebrity golf tournament. I'm done. I'm like, let's go to bed. Let's go to bed. I'm tired of this. I'm done. I've already shot 100 videos because we're starting this new channel, right? So then I'm sitting there all of a sudden.
You're talking to a buddy.
We're
not even filming, and I hit it.
And she hits it. I get up. I get the picture of the last one. I'm like, I can't believe I missed the one that I wanted to get. So then we film her getting paid. And that's the one that takes off. Mm-hmm. But I'll let her talk about the feeling and all the rest of it. But I just remember I talked to Ryan, who's videoing me right now. I'm like, I can't believe I didn't get the one that I wanted to get.
Very similar to my biggest casino win was $300,000. And this was way before the channel. This was 2.5 years ago. And I was down a lot of money. And I begged him, let me just get 5,000 more, see if I can hit this. I was playing high stakes Keno at Caesars.
And I'm like, I'm going to kill you.
And we were down tons. And I just said, all I want is $5,000. And he said, fine. But then we're going to bed. It was like 7 p.m. We were in a golf tournament. And I hit an 8 spot for $300,000, paid off all of our markers, paid off everything. And I was all, see? So it was kind of that same feeling because he was mad at me that night. He's like, let's go to bed. It's 3 a.m. And I ended up hitting the grand jackpot, which was just, I never thought that would happen on a $50 bet too. Usually before that, I was playing 125, 250, because in my mind, I got to play the big ones to hit the big jackpot. Nope, it's on the lowest bet you could bet on this machine. So it was pretty cool. I wish I could say I walked out with all of that, but I didn't. But
Did you walk out with any of it?
Yeah, we were there 7 days. It was celebrity golf. So
I saw you get paid in cash, and I was curious what happened to all the cash, if that was just for the cameras or if you held on to all the bricks.
Well, if you see in the video, they are counting out only 90,000 because I had markers. I paid off all my markers with the rest of the cash. Left with 90, but we still had 2 or 3 days left. So you know how that goes. It was did not walk home with any money, but win some, you lose some.
We got a hell of a video.
That was what started our channel, so I guess we won.
That's so cool. I mean, obviously a big win, but maybe an even bigger win that it set you guys on the course that you're on right now with the channel. And
we talked about it afterwards. And I'm a spiritual person, and it's like, to imagine starting the channel with that video, I mean, it's kind of a gift from God to have that fall into your lap. So it's like it was pretty interesting to see everything take off after that. And then, here's a really funny story. So we just, like I said, we got to 50,000 subscribers. We had no clue what we were doing at the beginning of it. We gave away $1,000 when we hit 1,000 subscribers.
We're like, what?
We did it. We made it to 1,000. And so we gave somebody, and it was really interesting because it was a girl named Jana who lives in the Philippines. And in the Philippines, $1,000 is a lot of money. So it helped out her, it helped us out and everything. But it's like, once we got to know what we were doing, we're like, oh my God, we can't do that. Get to 50,000 subscribers. Here's 50 grand.
1,000 is still a big milestone when you start out. I mean, that's the first milestone.
It was. And like we've talked about many times, we think that we put it out there into the universe and, helped her out in the Philippines, which I think there's probably a lot of money in the Philippines, $1,000. So, and she's still a huge part of our channel.
Still on our channel all the time.
That's amazing.
And invited all her friends to join the channel as well.
That's so cool. From the content I've seen from this conversation, I can tell you guys have a lot of fun and you get into a lot of fun situations. I'm curious if you have any other fun stories, whether they're big wins, whether they're funny situations, other funny casino stories that our viewers might find entertaining.
Well, we have two of the guys that work with us all the time, Daniel San and Kid Vika. They're brothers, and they've become a big part of the channel too. And Kid Vika, we found out, it was like a month into him working with us, is a really talented rapper and singer. And he starts playing this music for us. We're like, that's you? And now it's like, we've got all these people on the channel that are listening to his music. And he's got this one song called On Tan. And everybody's all about Kid Vika. They're all about Daniel San. And it's like, the funny part is when they talk, both of them sound exactly the same in the tone of their voice, in the way they speak. So everybody's like, okay, is that Daniel San or Kid Vika?
and how we met those two is we were at a small local casino. We were at 1,000 subscribers, and all of a sudden here, you guys are Jackpot G-Spot, aren't you? It was when we were still G-Spot. I looked back at that was the first people that recognized us, and they both said, we want to be a part of this. This is awesome. We want to be, what can we do?
Amazing.
And I was like, well, your kids want to be security? I don't know. And then, so they started out as security, and then we realized that we needed video editing. Well, Kid Vika edited all his music videos, so he was very good at that. So now he's in the other office right next door to us working on editing. He edits everything, puts it out, schedules our lives. So we got him out of the construction business to do manual labor to come do our videos. And his brother hopefully soon will come work for us full time too.
That's so cool. I'm definitely going to find that song and somehow get it into this interview.
Oh, you gotta get on 10.
It's
Kid
on
Vika.
iTunes, Apple Music, it's everywhere.
It's the next slots anthem of the summer.
Oh, it's such a good song. It's ridiculous. I'm like,
He's
how are
really
you
talented.
How are you not famous right now? But don't get him too famous, then
Yeah,
he'll
because
leave.
he'll leave us.
Or maybe he can launch his own channel one day.
I hope so. I mean, he's that good.
Okay. Well, I see that we're coming up to the end of the time that we have here. Is there anything else that you guys want to shout out in this interview before we wrap things up?
I think really just a thank you to all of the people who have subscribed, all the people that might subscribe after seeing this, and just a thank you to everybody who's been along for this ride. I mean, it's been 7 months. We were at the El Cortez for the grand opening this last weekend. We kind of just sat around in the room at the end of the night, having dinner and just looking back for a second going, holy cow, that was crazy. Now get ready for the real crazy. But it's really, kind of humbling to, like I said, today I was at In-N-Out and this guy comes up and goes, "You're the mayor." Absolutely astonishing to me.
We also got to thank the pioneers of this business before us. Everybody in this space has been so helpful and kind and nice to us. Vegas Matt, NG, Big Jackpot, everybody's been just awesome. So we thank them a lot for helping us along the way as well.
We have to remember to thank the Pepper Mill too.
And yes.
So Aaron, Billy, Katie, everybody over at the Pepper Mill, absolutely amazing. And then our friends at the El Dorado and the Tamarack too. I mean, it's like we've had a lot of people helping us out along the way. It's been a lot of hard work for us and our team, but without those partners, it would be absolutely not impossible, but a lot harder.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so cool. I mean, it seems like this is kind of it's a process that keeps happening where I'm sure you are doing the same thing for other channels that are coming up. And it seems like a really collaborative and supportive community, which you might not always think of when you think of gambling influencers, but I've always been blown away by how supportive and friendly everybody is and helpful. So that's great to hear. Given where you guys have gotten to in 7 months, I'm so excited to see where you'll be in another 7 months and another year and where the whole space is going to go. Because I think, like you said, we're just at the beginning of this whole thing. So I hope everyone watching will go and subscribe to Chris and the mayor's channel, Jackpot Slot Spot. And
boom.
Got it.
Boom, and subscribe to the SlotsFan podcast. And we hope to have you back on the show. And I hope to attend an event someday and get a chance to hang out with you guys in person. I so appreciate your time and all your insights and all your stories. So until next time, thank you so much, Chris and the mayor.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.